In ancient Greece, priestesses called the Pythia gave prophecies while inhaling vapors that rose from a chasm beneath Apollo's temple at Delphi. The Pythia spoke from inside the Adyton, a small chamber deep within the temple of Apollo, seated on a tripod over a fissure in the rock. Ancient sources, including Plutarch, Strabo, Diodorus, and Pausanias, described a sweet-smelling pneuma rising from the floor that put her into trance. Kings sent emissaries to her. Generals delayed wars for her answers. Ordinary Greeks waited weeks for a single ambiguous line of verse. For about 900 years, from roughly the 8th century BC until the temple was silenced by the Emperor Theodosius in 390 AD, Delphi was the most authoritative religious site in the Mediterranean world. Then, in 1892, French archaeologists excavated the Temple of Apollo and reported no chasm. The floor of the Adyton appeared to be solid bedrock. By the early 20th century, scholarly consensus had hardened. The chasm and the vapor were ancient fictions, dramatic theater invented to lend the priestess authority. The Pythia, the textbook said, was in self-induced trance or chewing bay laurel leaves. The geology had been made up. In the 1980s, an American geologist named Gilles de Boer began mapping active fault lines in central Greece for the Greek government. He noticed a major fault, the Delphic Fault, running directly under the Temple of Apollo. Years later, an archaeologist named John Hale joined him, and together they identified a second intersecting fault, the Kurna Fault, crossing the first one almost exactly beneath the temple's ruined Adyton. The two scientists added a chemist, Geoffrey Chanton, and a toxicologist, Henry Spiller. They tested spring water at the site, and they tested travertine deposits in the surrounding rock. The samples contained ethylene, ethane, and methane, light hydrocarbons released when tectonic friction heats the bituminous limestone layers underneath. Their paper, published in the journal Geology in August 2001, reported that the Pythia had been inhaling ethylene gas. Ethylene is colorless, slightly sweet-smelling, and was used as a surgical anesthetic in the early 20th century. Patients who breathed light doses reported euphoria, disinhibition, a distorted body sense, and the feeling of standing outside themselves. Higher doses cause unconsciousness, sustained high doses kill. Plutarch, who served as a priest at Delphi around the turn of the 2nd century AD, recorded one session in which the Pythia entered a violent hostile trance, was carried out by attendants, and died within days. That is what a fatal ethylene overdose looks like. The chasm the French excavators went looking for was not a single dramatic fissure. It was the network of fractures along the two faults, sealed and reopened in cycles by Greek tectonics over centuries. The pneuma was real. The mechanism was real. The trance was real. The ancient sources, dismissed for 100 years, were correct. What Apollo's priestess heard in the smoke was a hydrocarbon. The hydrocarbon was Apollo speaking, and the priestess was only the receiver, not the god. Another famous Greek ritual, the Eleusinian Mysteries, may have run on ergot, the mold that produced LSD. Like and subscribe.